Welcome back to Gear Talk, except this is going to be a Q&A. I asked questions on my Instagram story. What do you want me to answer? And now, lo and behold, the answers are going to come in a little bit more of an elaborate fashion than you usually see on TikTok. I got more time. There's no rush. Long form content. Let's get after it. What do we got?
So we got, what is a peptide? Asked by Chris Kringle 44.
It's funny. Okay, this will probably be this is the first question, will be the most elaborate answer. A peptide is a derivative of HGH, and it comes in a more acute and fast-acting form. So HGH right here is the dad, and the peptides are the kids, okay? The kids typically will do something better than the dad did, right? Like, the dad was good at sports, but, his son is just like going to the Padres. The dad was really good at school, or decent at school, 3.0 student, but his daughter is a 4.0 and she's going to Yale. Okay, so substitute the grades for healing. That's the healing peptides. The daughter's just better than the dad at healing. And the son, substitute that, being a really good sports, like a jock, substitute the Padres for muscle growth or weight loss. Okay, so the son's better than the dad at weight loss or muscle growth. Okay, so the dad, it's taken time for him to become good at everything. HGH takes a lot of time. That's my dog snoring. HGH takes a lot of time to activate. It gets better throughout the months. It's like fine wine. Peptides hit immediately. Peptides hit very quickly. Not all of them. Like testosterone could take up to 6 to 8 weeks, but that's still quicker than GH. But usually, like the BPC TB blends, Glow, Clo, Sloop, Retta, tirzepatide, like majority of the good ones, 5-amino MQ, like they are going to take form very quickly for you and get you to your objective of like why you're taking them a lot quicker than HGH. But in no sense is it as good as HGH is in terms of covering all the corners of the box, all four corners. It's going to cover 1 to 2 max. HGH is going to cover the entirety of the box, but you just have to wait longer to get there.
Chase McNeil asked, what's the difference between peptides and steroids?
Peptides you can get on and get off with zero repercussions. Steroids you cannot just get on and get off cold turkey. You have to use ancillaries to wake up your nads, wake up your nuts, get those things going again, and producing your own testosterone functionally without having to stick a needle in your ass, because that's what steroids make you do. You don't have to live on the needle, you just have to get off properly. That's the misconception. Oh, if I do steroids, if I do testosterone, I'm gonna have to be on it forever. That is the most uneducated hillbilly thing you could ever say. When somebody says that in the sauna, I'm like, dude, are you fucking retarded? Like, have you ever looked into things like just a smidge? Because you can get on and get off. Tons of people do it. It can suck the longer you're on testosterone and the more you've abused steroids, like a lot of these bodybuilders. Like, it's probably not an option long term. Colin Von Mogers talked about how his test score, I think, was like 46 or something like that. Like, it could be very detrimental if you've been running a lot for a long time. But I was on for 4 years and then I got off for 4 years, and my test score was like 650 and then 720. So like, I got off properly. But I mean, I think age, genetics, and a lot of things have a different factor for you. But that's steroids. Peptides you can get on and get off as you please.
I heard about Retta helping with addictions. Is that true?
Yeah.
I was asked by Drew.
Yeah, looking back on like my personal experience, I did a TikTok on this. I still like to party. I'm not addicted to drugs. I don't think I've ever been addicted to drugs. But I was definitely addicted to like wine in particular. Like, I don't want to say it's alcohol, but I don't want to say like, yeah, beer and mixed drinks. It was wine. Like, I loved opening a nice fancy bottle of wine, playing Call of Duty with my boys, and just drinking it all by myself, or most of it, and sophisticating my palate. And I did this for like 6, 7, 8 months at Essex. That's where I used to live, and it was dope. I had a lot of fun, and I built my palate up doing that, but I didn't realize that wasn't like healthy to do, even though it's pretty functional. A lot of people do it. But I don't have a stomach for it. Like, I don't ever have it at my house. Even when girls are here, they're like, do you have any wine? I'm like, no, I can DoorDash it immediately. Like, I want you to be comfortable, but like, I just don't have it because the acidity of the wine, just even right now talking about it, sounds so off-putting. It has ruined it for me. It really has. Now, alcohol, I don't even think about making a drink here. I used to like to make a mixed drink once in a while and stuff by myself. Don't want it. The only time I'm going to drink is socially because that's the time to do it. I think it's fun. It makes me more fun. But in terms of just like my day-to-day life, I don't drink alcohol anymore if I'm just by myself. And that's a big deal because I used to do it a lot. So that for me, in my personal experience, it is already being used in rehabs. Semaglutide really is the one doing it because it really shuts off that receptor, the GLP-1, where you're really craving. It shuts off the hypothalamus. So all that trigger for like what you need, satiety to get there, you don't need it anymore. Semaglutide is trash, but it's still the best one at that particular thing, breaking an addiction, because it's just so harsh on the GLP-1 receptor. So yes, they do work with addiction.
What support subs should you be taking during cycle? As from Vladimir.
Tudka is much better than milk thistle, and doing both is kind of overkill. So Tudka for your liver, and it's also going to cleanse your kidneys. Milk thistle and time-released niacin. Milk thistle daily, Tudka daily. Time-released niacin I do like 3 to 4 times a week. Even though because it's time-released at 500 milligrams, I still get niacin flush, which is super unpleasant. Lets you know it's working, but it's like a hot heat rash. If you've had it, you already know, like for 30 minutes to like sometimes longer on your body, and my ears get fucking red. It fucking sucks, and it can happen like 8 hours after taking it, or after I have something spicy, it could trigger it. So I do niacin sparingly, like 3 to 4 times a week. It is the healthiest thing you can take in terms of detoxifying for your body, holistically. Oregano oil, I do a 60-day thing with that to cleanse my gut, and then I get off of it for the equal amount of time. And that's all subjective to like what you read and stuff, but it cleanses your gut. It kills a lot of the bad bacteria. It can kill some good bacteria, so it's not healthy to take year round, but it's definitely healthy to take. Fenugreek, niacin, Tudka, oregano oil, grass-fed beef liver pills, 5 to 6 of those a day. Probably the healthiest thing you can take. If you start looking up the benefits of grass-fed beef liver for holistic use, how I'm using it for your immune system, for your organs, and if you actually look at like all the newfound data that I truly believe, like before he lost his mind and stuff, Liver King like put that on the map. Like it's actually very healthy. So look into that. But yeah, those are what I take.
Jose asked, how many cycles should you do before considering tren?
1. So 1 real cycle. Your first cycle should be a real cycle, not 500 tests and some VAR and that's it. Then no, you didn't do it right, and you shouldn't be taking tren your second time. Your first cycle should be as aggressive as, this is what I do with my clients, and everybody's different, but I got like 5 or 6 staple clients that are the 5 cycles that I'll use, and the dosing will be different, but the compounds will not be different. And that could be like, we'll start you at test at 350, Anavar, and I'll even throw in primo immediately now. I used to want to wait so you could feel what the test is doing, but to be honest, guys, we already know what test does. It's going to get you bigger, it's going to make you feel macho, all that shit. It's with testosterone. We already have testosterone, so that's my justification. I changed that rule like a year and a half ago. I'll throw primo in the mix immediately. That's the only one I'll throw in the mix immediately besides EQ. So if you're trying to like build lean mass, I go with primo side. If you're trying to get big, I use the EQ side. So that's like with your test as your base. Immediately. EQ takes forever to build. Primo, why not have it in there? It gets better as time goes on. That takes a while to really get good too. So that's my justification with that. And then you have your Anavar, and now you want to lose some weight, so we got some clenbuterol, maybe some T3. This is all for your first cycle. I've done this with over 2,000 people, and it's been amazing. And nobody has one bad thing to say about my coaching, so I don't want to hear shit. And everybody gets great results. And then after we've dabbled with this and dabbled with that, if you're doing a 5-6 month cycle with me, we will definitely try halo testing or Superdrol at 10 milligrams. I've gotten like, it's just perfect. And then I'll see your bloods, and your bloods are perfect. Because taking 10 milligrams of Superdrol 3 to 4 times a week, sparingly, is like taking fucking Tylenol. It just is. And if you're elevated, if your liver enzymes are elevated, we're just going to pull it for like a week or two, and you just have a kind of a weaker liver, which is fine. And you're going to be back to baseline. But by the time you're done with your first cycle with me, you have experienced 6 or 7 or even 8 fucking things in a 5 to 6 month time frame. I really like 5 to 6 month cycles. It's your body, your choice. You can go shorter. I always advise 5 to 6 months. It gets you off properly. Some people really just want to cruise. Cool with that. You're young. If you're older, you already know what's going on. They're either on TRT already before you get to me, or you just want to make this decision because you're 45 and you just want to keep going. So we cross that bridge when we get there. By the time you're doing your second cycle, it's time for tren. If you're putting it in my hands. But some people go, no, I don't want to take it. Totally cool. But also when I say it's time for tren, it doesn't mean it's time for 300 mgs of tren. We can go 75 a week. We can go 120 a week. We can go 200 a week. I usually keep it there. Usually. For me, my first time I did tren, second cycle, I'm not saying do this, but I came out just fine. I did 350 mgs to 300 mgs, and I did it for 17 weeks. And then I took a 5-week break, and then I hired this stupid fucking kid for my first show. And he was like, no, I'll get back on tren. So I did tren for another 7 weeks. That was the most I've ever done tren. And that was, when I look back at that, I never would have somebody do that. But my clients can run tren for like 3 months, sometimes up to 14, 15 weeks at 200 to 250 mgs. But we're going to do 2 blood tests and all that shit. Why would I do that? Because we're all taking steroids for one reason. We want to get the gains. And let's not beat around the bush. The way you get the gains, and I've done this video, tren versus primo, all this shit, nothing's going to beat tren for radical 5-to-1 anabolic gains. Okay, anabolic. They say it's super androgenic. It's not. I know on the scale it says it is. It does not even compete with Masteron. It does not compete with Primobolan. It does not compete with Superdraw. It's not this super androgenic steroid. If it is for you, you're just naturally fucking lean. Because it's just not. It's more of a wet compound. So tren's a beautiful thing when done at the right time. Don't ever touch an androlone, tren, deca, MPP, parabolan, which is also tren. Like, just don't touch these things your first cycle, because if it's going great, you don't want to ruin it. It's just, you want supervision with it. Trust.
Nelson asked, do you think self-made millionaires take nootropics, peptides, and gear, etc.?
The ones that don't would be more successful if they did. And the ones that do it wholeheartedly know that it's definitely helped them get to this point. So like if you're in sales, if you're cold calling all the time and you're not on Adderall, I think you're kind of weird. Like, you should be leaving no stone unturned. So I'm not saying take a bunch of Adderall, but I am saying, like, bend the rules. Bend the rules, because a lot of people bend the fucking rules. And that's just how you get to point A to point B sooner. So do I think a lot of them do? Yeah. Most? Yeah. Some? No. But like most millionaires are like fucking adrenaline junkies, or like they got some screw loose. You kind of have to be like working overtime all the time, and you know, maybe their guilty pleasure is like smoking a bunch of cigarettes, but everybody has like a vice. I don't really know I really don't know anybody that's made it totally sober, if that makes sense.
Amit asked, do Retta sprays have the same benefits as injection?
No, we sell those now as of today, but the injection you're not going to beat. Semax or Cmax and Salonc, that's anything cognitive, like meant for your dome function, your brain function. I think the nasal spray would hit better because it's right there, and it's going to hit your dome first. So that common sense in my pro science brain just makes total sense. But injection based is typically going to give you the full absorption for things that are meant for your body, physical ailments, losing weight. Yeah.
What ratio do you recommend running primo to test without taking an estrogen blocker? Hobby.
If you're a first time client, it's a 1-to-1 ratio if we're figuring things out. And then I like to go primo higher and test stays the same, you know, but I have to see your estradiol. Or I just gauge after 4 or 5 weeks, feel good, all right, everything's good, all right, cool. Once in a while I feel so tired, blah, blah, once in a while. But more like 2 out of 3 people are like me, where they aromatize and they can handle it, and then there's that one person, I should probably say 3 out of 4, and then there's like that one person that like is really sensitive to it, and we have to make that adjustment where it's like, okay, I'll just spike your test up or I'll lower your primo, but it's problem solved after that.
Why do you recommend taking HCG after your cycle instead of during?
HCG desensitizes LH and FSH for the long-term use. So using enclomiphene and HCG year-round is really bad for your luteinizing hormones, your balls. And when you need them, it's not actually going to work like how you need it to work. You've just desensitized yourself and you've built this huge tolerance to it, and you're going to need more and more and more, or you're just up shit creek without paddle. There are some studies that 250, 300 micrograms of HCG during cycle is good, and you can do it. And there's like some actual really knowledgeable doctors that back it. So I'm not going to say that doesn't work. I'm just going to say I would rather just use it for when I need it. And that's PCT when I'm getting off, or when I want to bridge, meaning I'm just going to do tests. I'm not going to work out too much. I'm going to do that for like 3 months at 180 mgs of tests for my cruise. But before I do that, I'm coming off cycle. I'm going to run 4 to 6 weeks of HCG, Clomid or Clomiphene. Clomiphene's better, but both is just one of those, and some Nolvadex, and that could be my bridge. And then I'm going to get, so bridge means I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to get on my testosterone again. Or that could be my PCT, where it's going to be the same time duration, 4 to 6 weeks, probably 6 weeks for me, obviously. But the doses are going to be higher, because I need to really wake my shit up, because I'm not going to use testosterone when I get off. When am I going to do that? I don't know. But I think when Grand Theft Auto 6 comes out, I'll probably stop lifting for 3 or 4 months and just do a long PCT, truthfully. Because there's going to be a time and place where I just don't want to work out for a couple months, and I always do that. And like Kevin LeBron, I just like hibernate like a bear. I don't work out much, if at all, and I get fat. And it's just a good change up for the body, and it makes things a lot easier to transform when you want to transform.
Sully asks, what is the injury protocol on Wolverine?
Everybody's different, but like a safe blanket statement would be, if you have a 5mg vial, like mix it with 2 ml and go 20 to 25 microunits of the vial of the Wolverine. And then if it's like your elbow, go like right here under the skin, or right here, or right here. If it's your knee, right here, right here. It's a little irritated from 3 or 4 days of injecting. You go in your stomach, maybe you take 1 day off, but those type of peptides you want to go as much as possible with.